Hi, my name's Rob and this is Metal Monthly. Everything that went on in metal music in the last month, we talk about it, it's awesome, let's get on with it. First up, new albums. What metal goodness was released in June? As usual, it was dozens of albums, so I'm only going to be talking about the ones that I think are interesting or cool. First up, The Ghost Inside with The Ghost Inside, creative title. This album is metalcore that is heavy as fuck with rough vocals. It's not usually the kind of thing I like, but for some reason I did get into this. I feel like there was a little bit of melody there. I don't know, I could get into it. It's good, I might have to listen to more of them. Next up, Lamb of God, creative title. This is the first album the band has released since kicking out Chris Adler, and I'm not going to get into that whole thing because I don't understand it. But the album is decent. It sounds very Lamb of God, if that makes sense. It's got the high-pitched guitar, the rough vocals, the riffs to headbang to, the lyrics that are sung in a very rough vocal style, so I don't have a clue what he said. But it's a good album. It sounds really good. I will be listening to it more than once. Next up, Protest the Hero, Palimpsest. The word palimpsest means to wash away old parchment so you can write something new on it, which is weird. Apparently it refers to the band's changing style and referencing the singer and his own issues with his voice, but regardless, it's a weird word to use. Palimpsest. It sounds like a disease. I didn't even listen to the album, I just looked at what palimpsest meant and kind of went, that's stupid. If you've listened to palimpsest, let me know in the comments if it's any good, because I didn't listen to it. And lastly, Make Them Suffer, How to Survive a Funeral. I had never heard of this band before, I just chose them because I love both that band name and that album name. Then I listened to the album and it turns out it's very, very heavy metal, not the kind of stuff I'm into. It's just noise, there's no riff, there's no melody, there's no singing, it's just noise. It kind of sounds like old Napalm Death stuff, which I need to be in a very specific mood to get into because it's just very, very loud and noisy and not music at all. But off topic, Napalm Death did do a song a few months ago called Logic Ravaged by Brute Force, which is such a good song, maybe my favourite metal song ever. Genuinely listen to it, it's so good. But that's nothing to do with this, that wasn't released last month, so forget it, it's not part of this video at all. Next up, what was on last month? Nothing. Because of the coronavirus, obviously everything was pretty much cancelled. Of the things that were cancelled included Download Festival, my favourite thing in the world, it got cancelled, everything sucks. Now instead they had Download TV, which was an online thing on all of their social media stuff, which was a mix of like interviews, live performances from old years, some new stuff, a bunch of stuff. It was quite cool. Some people complained that it was not enough music and a lot of other stuff. I personally think they put a lot of effort into it. It was free. I really enjoyed it. Now, of course, Download Festival wasn't the only festival to be cancelled last month. Other festivals that had to be called off included Glastonbury in England, Hellfest in France, Rock am Ring in Germany, and the Intergalactic Music Festival on Rigel 7. Next up, deaths. Metal music is old and so are some of its musicians, so in every instalment of this series I will talk about the musicians who have passed away last month. In June there were 2 passings of metal musicians. This included Paul Chapman, former guitarist of UFO and Wasted, who passed away at 66, and Yuji Adachi, former guitarist of Dead End, who passed away at 56. Obviously my condolences to their families and all of their fans. And now to end on a more upbeat note, here is a fun story from June. Actually, this isn't a fun story from June, this is a fun story for July. I just want you to be aware of it. I don't want this to be the kind of thing that you find out about after it's happened. I want everyone to be aware of this and following it on social media because I feel like it's going to be fun. So anyway, here's the fun story. It's a fun story in the sense that seeing someone you don't like fall down the stairs is fun. You hope they're okay, you feel bad about laughing about it, but in the same sense you enjoyed the chaos. So as I mentioned last month, a lot of music festivals got cancelled, and that is the same for July. A lot of music festivals are being cancelled. Not all of them though. A new metal festival in Wisconsin is going ahead in July as planned. So the festival is meant to be taking place between the 16th and the 18th of July at the Q&Z Expo Center in Wisconsin. I suppose that's, is that Q&Z? Q&Z, which one's the American one? It doesn't matter. The festival organisers seem to have actually started to call the festival the Herd Immunity Festival, which seems like they've come up with a joke that's gone over their own heads. Featuring TeknoAXE and a bunch of bands you've never heard of, you can get tickets to this 3-day event for $110. Now that seems quite expensive considering it's TeknoAXE and a bunch of bands you've never heard of, but also because over the 3 days they're only putting on 15 bands. Why do you need 3 days to put on 15 bands? You could do that in an afternoon. In a statement from the festival organisers, which I can't find online anymore, so I'm assuming they've deleted it, but I'm assuming they did say it at some point. When the lockdown first happened, my first thought was, okay, we can all do 2 weeks. Then it went on and on, things were getting cancelled. I started to worry about people, not only for this COVID, but mental, physical, financial. As humans, we need other human contact. So it is our honour to bring you this mini fest. Let's make it a fun, safe weekend, and let's be kind to each other. Spread the word by sharing the event and invite your friends. Now, is it just me, or in these trying times of the coronavirus, do you know what would make it an even safer weekend? Not putting on a music festival. You know? So anyway, do keep an eye on this on the social medias. If it does actually happen, I have a suspicious feeling it may not happen at all, but if it does, I feel like it's going to be a shit show and it's going to be fun to watch from afar. Anyway, that's all from me. I really hope you liked this video. If I happen to have missed anything, if you've got thoughts on the albums I mentioned earlier on, please do let me know in the comments. If you liked this video, please do click like, subscribe, all those things. You guys are great. My name is Rob, and I will see you next month.